Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with your other host,
Tristan Walter.
What? Tristan Walter?
Yep,
Holy
I'm back,
crap.
baby.
He's back from Africa, and that's not a segue into, like, doing Indiana Jones podcast. No, you've been in Africa. Though I have to admit, it's on our list. But yeah, so you went to Africa, you came back, there's no joke. Like, you were studying for 3 months, you stopped doing super because of that. I hope you're happy. Which, I mean, honestly, what did we miss? Battle of Gods and God knows whatever else plot points, because I haven't kept up either. But the point is this. The point is that today we are doing Star Wars 4, A New Hope, or The Star Wars, or Star Wars Stories of Luke Starkiller. I think that was the one. Wasn't that the one? Listen, all right, I've been doing research all day. As if I've watched the films. One of the earlier drafts of the movie, let's see, The Star Wars was one of the earlier names. It eventually became Star Wars 4, Episode 4, A New Hope, eventually, because it was like, hey, we released another movie. You know, we should probably edit the titles.
Originally it was just Star Wars.
Star Wars.
And then once they released Empire Strikes Back, they're like, right, we should probably give that the first one a title.
Yes. But yeah, no, they went through a lot of, because as I'm sure you know, and it's funny because I was telling you some stuff that you didn't know, but not in a way where, you know, you're a schlub or anything, but you're a fan of the movies, right? We're only talking about the quote-unquote fourth movie today, right? We're only talking about that today. But overall, just as a general, you know, debriefing on you're a huge fan, but in a way that I'm not, in the sense that I haven't played all the games like you have, or at least a lot, you know, the games that you've played, right? I haven't read, I'm sure you've read a lot of the books, or at least a decent amount, or at least you know about them more than I do. You know, the general book. And me, I've just seen the 6 movies, right? Also, you've seen the animated shows as well, which I've seen glimpses of. So you are a lot more into the universe. However, not to say that you haven't gone behind the scenes and looked at some stuff. Of course you have. But I actually know a lot of random crap that I threw at you today, and you were like, wait, what?
Yeah, just because I've just actually, you know, gone on Wiki and I've been like, let me see how this thing was made. Because, you know, there's a lot of talk about how this movie wasn't, I'm not going to say it was a train wreck, because that's a horrible phrasing, especially for such a great film. But that Lucas had a lot of help. Kind of like, you know, people holding his hand, saying like, come on, like, you know, like, not that Lucas was bad at all, though I will give you a more recent trilogy as a way to, not that Lucas was bad, here's some free reign. But anyway, it's just the idea that, there were people that helped him through this creative process. And like many scripts, you know, they did go through a lot of drafts, you know, before coming to what we saw now. And hell, a lot of clips on the editing room floor. I mean, apparently Luke Skywalker had a best friend who went off to join the rebellion that was cut out of the film. Yeah. Okay.
Best friend, bud. I don't know his real name. I forgot his real name, even though I just read it.
I mean,
the point is that, what?
I guess it might have, like, it was a second one or a third one. Oh, yeah, because they do mention, I mean, we could probably talk about that later, but yeah, I think I know what you're referring to.
Oh, okay, because I have to be honest, I haven't seen the other two in years. So I've seen this one, like, a lot more over the last few years, but I haven't seen the other two in years. So when we do those are going to be a huge blast from the past for me, because again, as I said, I'm not sitting here saying I never got into Star Wars, but compared to you, I'm a plebeian. Like, compared to many out there, I just don't feel like I'm into it as much as some other people, but I really wanted to do these because not only is the new movie coming out later on this month, but the new movie, mind you, being the new movie, the sequel, not the prequel, not the sequel to the prequel, but the sequel to the sequel's prequel sequel. I got that right somehow.
I think you did.
Movie 7, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, something that you may not know, Luke was at one point known as Luke Starkiller.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I know
why,
the name has been tossed around a lot even before The Force Unleashed, the game, came out.
Which is why in the third draft, that's what I was looking at before, it was called the Star Wars From the Adventures of Luke Starkiller, which, by the way, it sounds like he's the villain.
Right, exactly.
I think maybe that's why, someone, if not Lucas, just thought, Skywalker probably sounds a lot less intimidating.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry,
like, wait a
Starkiller
minute.
sounds like something from a toku that I would watch, like a Sentai Kamen Rider thing, which is like Starkiller. Yeah. Like, it just sounds like it's like bum 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 bum.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bum. Yeah, so I'm happy they went with Skywalker. It sounds a lot more relaxed. Also, in one of the drafts, Luke actually was working with his dad, so his dad was training him. Now it's just kind of like, well, things have changed in this draft. Things have changed a little bit. Who's Luke's dad? Find out in the sequel. Though I feel like that's one of the things that have slipped into the public consciousness. Like, if you don't know who Luke's dad is, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, it's one of those where it's just like, I will admit, like, I'm not one of the, like, I'm the kind of person that doesn't like spoilers at all. So I do feel bad when people are just like, oh, come on, the movie came out 30 years ago. Or 40 years. It's like, shut up, right? But at the same time, this is one of those things.
Yeah.
This is one of those things, though, where it's like, again, no, because, like, all right, if I were to tell you, oh, yeah, so-and-so died in Jurassic Park, while we're watching Jurassic Park, like, yes, Jurassic Park came out, 20 years ago, but at the same time, I don't feel like random character dying in Jurassic Park should totally be something that's public knowledge.
No,
you know what I mean?
True.
Same thing with, like, Dragon Ball Z, too. Dragon Ball Z technically came out 30 years ago. Sort of technically came out, 30, depending. It depends on how you want to, right? And for us in the U.S., it came out 10 plus. But still, I think it would be a little rude to just be like, oh, man, isn't it crazy how so-and-so died? And even though in Dragon Ball Z, that's just saying, they'll be back next season. But the idea of, oh, I didn't know so-and-so died, thanks for spoiling it, asshole, right? It's still prevalent, even though DBZ came out a while ago, and Dragon Ball as well.
Yeah. That would kind of be like going, like when they go up against the Saiyans, it's like, newsflash, only about 3 of them make it out of this. What?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's like at least funny. To name the 3 would be like Jackass.
Yeah.
Well, what? It came out in the 80s. It doesn't matter.
No.
But anyway.
Yeah. No, I definitely get what you're saying. Like, I would be pissed off if somebody kind of spoiled something.
Yeah.
But like, the whole thing. If you don't know fucking Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father, then I don't know where the hell
I didn't watch the second one. It's been years, man. It's been years, man.
I will hang up right now, I swear. I will leave.
What's funny is I was tiptoeing around. I was like, I wonder which one of us is going to do it first. You're just like, if you don't know that, oh, no, he's doing it.
Yeah.
Which I think is the phrase everyone screamed once they rewatched the second movie knowing, wait a minute, Luke and Leia? Right?
Yeah.
After knowing that fact, I think everyone rewatched, oh, no, he's doing it. It's pretty weird. I mean, thankfully this movie was pretty, like, this movie didn't really, have any, like, tender embraces. Just like,
that's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
I mean, technically there is a point where, okay, technically Leia kisses Luke twice in this one, but it's
really?
Like,
it was only once I saw. The one time I saw was just like, and mind you, in my opinion, it was cute in a way where it's like, oh, good luck. Like that can easily just be like a sweep under the rug. But I didn't see another one. I saw him hugging, they embraced and like a hug, like, oh yeah, like after they blew up the Death Star, right? During that hug,
all you just hear, if you would have been in the room with me, you would hear me just muttering, just don't make out, don't make out, don't make out.
No, it wasn't
Just
then.
please
It was actually
don't make out.
It was actually before they leave for the Death Star run.
Oh. Well,
Like, she's talking to him for a split second before he gets to his X-Wing. Yeah, and then it's another, like, he's like, oh, I tried to talk to Han, and he's still not, he's still leaving, and, I wish Ben were here, and blah, 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 and, Leia just gives him a kiss on the cheek and then walks off. So technically, yes, there are two in that movie, but it's harmless ones,
Yeah, they're the kind where it's just like, hey, you know what? If at this point it was revealed, like in the next movie or whatever, it's just like, okay, like we interpreted it, the way we interpreted it.
Right.
But whatever, you know what I mean? Like you see two leading people, you're just going to say stuff. But you know what? Nah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Right? That's on us. But
I'll wait until we get to the next movie to try and defend that disaster, but anyway.
I love how you're already calling it a disaster. Like, I'm defending the disaster.
I mean, I'm fighting an uphill battle, and I know that, but I mean, this is a series that I've loved ever since I was a child, and I grew up, my parents both loved it, so.
You have to understand, I'm not critiquing, look, they didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically an episode of Maury. They didn't know, but
yeah,
it's
still weird.
They're not real.
No, I know.
What? Well, 'cause they're not real people. They're written.
That's true,
so,
too.
like, that's what I...
Well,
that's
how do you know?
That we'll talk about.
In a galaxy
far,
far away.
A long time ago. All right, fair point. You know what? I know a lot of people always make jokes. Are you one of the people that are just like, hey, that's totally our past? Like, that totally happened a while ago.
I kind of think of it more on the galaxy far, far away side of the quote instead of a long time ago.
So it was a long time ago, but it was also in a galaxy far, far away. So it totally has nothing to do with us because it was both.
Pretty much.
Okay. By the way, I loved another thing, too. I remember the opening crawl, which, of course, was added later, for some who don't know. The opening crawl was changed by basically Lucas made the crawl, and he was with a friend of his, and his friend was like, hey, Lucas, hey, buddy, this is a really fucking long set of words. Let's cut this down.
And
so they cut down the... Yes, they did.
Oh, all right.
So that's the crawl you see today. Because, originally, his original, as in original, like, I want to put this up, but let me go through some of my friends first. By the way, some of his friends, really fucking cool people. Like Francis Ford Coppola. Like, famous people, dude.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those weird things where it's just like, no, you have to understand. It's like that whole thing where it's just like, like, I can't think of it, just like, famous actor, whatever, and all of a sudden it's just like, and by the way, my buddy, who also became like a famous guy, You're just like, what the fuck? It's a weird situation, because it's just like, it's kind of like, I know so-and-so, who's so-and-so. Oh, yeah, you like Anne Hathaway. What? So it's one of those, like, random things where it's just like, sometimes we think of celebrities as like standalone people, like, oh, yeah, you're a celebrity. You've never, ever interacted with the world ever. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of connections going around.
Yeah, or you totally did pre-fame, right? But once you became famous, it was just like, yeah. But, like, it's really interesting. I was just like, wow, you guys knew each other. Pretty fucking cool. But anyway, so, we had a lot of stuff changed, obviously, throughout the years. I mean, I think anyone who's watched, the movies know about a lot of the edits that have gone on. There's always, debate over the edits. You were unable to watch your original, and I hate that during some of this we sound like we're so super cool, but I have to assure you we're really fucking not. You were unable to watch your 1985 VHS version, which was not edit-free. I want everyone to know, a lot of people try to make it seem like that, the earlier drafts of, like, these, not drafts, what am I saying, the earlier releases of, like, something like Star Wars were quote-unquote edit-free. That's not true. If you want to go find an edit-free version of Star Wars, the original version, the way God intended, the way the Force intended, you are going to have to find a time machine and go back to 1977 when the film was first released to about, like, 38 theaters. and you're going to have to watch it then. Because even though you're like, no, but like, what if I went on the time machine and went a couple months after, you know, during some of the other, like, when it was released to more theaters? Well, Lucas still messed with it even then. Like, if, you know, George Lucas, I think George Lucas is in an eternal battle with fucking, oh, come on, no, I can't forget his name. No, now is not the time to forget his name. See, the person whose name I'm forgetting is a perfectionist. He would never forget his own name. Stanley Kubrick. Fucking, I feel like Lucas and Kubrick are in an eternal battle to see which one is the more, like, the better perfectionist. Because you would argue, oh, but obviously Kubrick is, because he never thought about re-releasing his stuff and editing everything. Wrong. The true perfectionist, even when releasing, will go back and do it more. And that's what we see from fucking Lucas. The idea that he released it to theaters, thought, I could change this stuff around. Took it back, changed it, brought it back in the first, year or two that it was fucking out. Not like year that it was out in theaters. Jesus Christ.
Right.
You know? Yeah. So you're never going to see an original version, because even your version, 1985 VHS, things were changed. However, what wasn't changed, Tristan?
Oh, God, here we go.
It's happening. I'll shoot first. Boom. What wasn't changed, Tristan?
All right. We'll address the elephant in the room. Yes, the VHS version, or one of them that I have, an older version, has Han Solo shooting Greedo with no questions asked. There is no second shot, no dodging out of the way, no bullshit.
Now, my question is...
He shoots him dead. That's it.
You were unable to see this version for some reason. I have to give you a VHS, I have to give you a VCR now. God, we've been so removed from VHSs. I was going to say, we give you a VHS player. A VCR, butthead. That's what I yell at myself sometimes. I'm very rude, and I'm also Biff Tannen from Back to the Future in my head. Just, hey, butthead.
Yeah, wrong series, man. You're a stuffy-looking Nerf herder.
All I know is just I constantly just berate myself as Biff's voice, and I think I should get that checked out.
Probably.
So, yeah, you were unable to see your version, your 1985 version, so you saw a 2004 DVD release, which is funny because most people would say, that's a really early one. That would be a good one, too. 2004 Bare Bones. Problem is that you got a 2004 special edition?
Yeah.
Is that what it was that you got?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I know some people that have tried to say, that's the quote-unquote good one. But your version still has edits, actually.
Yes.
Your version has the... So, wait, what happened in your version? Because I want to get everything straight here. Because we're not going to go through all the different versions because we only have about an hour. So I'm not going to fucking sit here and be like, and then in this version. No. But I want to go over with what you and I at least have. Because not that I have, but I was able to acquire a Laserdisc version, which seems the least edited, but still somewhat better quality than, a 1985 VHS, no offense.
Right.
So tell me what's in your version.
So the one I saw,
what you noticed?
The one I saw, it's kind of it's still one after the other, but it's almost simultaneous. The last sentence, the last piece of dialogue in their conversation as Han Solo and Greedo are talking, he goes, I've been waiting for this for a long time. And Han goes, I bet you have. And Greedo shoots. Technically, Greedo shoots, and Han dodges and then shoots him under the table.
No, I have a question for you. So wait, this footage was reshot? Because I have to admit, I don't know a lot. This footage was reshot, or did they already have it and they just spliced it in because they wanted to tell this narrative?
I'm pretty sure they just spliced it in because it looks really janky. Because it looks like Han's twitching. It doesn't look natural at all.
Oh no! When I say spliced it in, I mean they didn't. They didn't have this filmed from a long time ago. Because I mentioned to you there's a lot on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
But no, it was like they edited it a certain way with the footage they already have, is what you're trying to say, from the way it looks.
I guess you would say that. I mean, it looks the same, because I also have a special edition VHS version, and it looks it looks about the same as that. I think they might have, like, taken that version and edited that, because from what I remember, there's a slight bit more of a pause. Like, Han clearly dodges the bolt and then shoots him. In the VHS version, so I think the DVD version might have, like, closed the gap on that by a few seconds, so it looks almost simultaneously.
Okay. Yeah, because personally, in the version that I have, it doesn't look like there's any dodging whatsoever. It just looks like Han just shoots. Like,
right,
hey.
exactly.
And which is funny because I remember hearing stuff like, you know, either Lucas or whoever who worked on this change, they felt as if, Han looks like a bad guy. He doesn't look like a good guy if he shoots first. But it's strange because to me it looks as if no matter what, Han is going to die. I don't really see, I don't really see how, it's like, well, Greedo has to shoot first. Look, when a guy has a gun on you, I have a feeling that you can just kind of shoot first, man.
And, I mean, okay, I think, I don't know. I guess I can understand that perspective, like, trying to make him not look like a bad guy instead of just making him look like, I don't know, more of an anti-hero or so. But, like, at first, it's very clear that Han's not a hero at the beginning. He's just kind of there for hire. You know, he was, like he said, he was in it for the money. He didn't give a shit about the rebellion at first. But, you know, being with Luke and being with Leia and, you know, the events that they had to go through in A New Hope kind of, I feel, you know, changes him for a bit. He actually finds, you know, some friends that he can be with that are, you know, not trying to kill him for once. People who are actually, you know, I don't know. I feel like people who are a bit more honest, you know. I don't know. Because, he works as a smuggler. He works with, you know, Jabba the Hutt. He's worked with some of the biggest scum in the galaxy.
Apparently. Yeah, they don't fucking edit that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, just go all the way.
Yeah. But, that's the thing. Han, in that situation, no, he would not hesitate. He would have shot him because he knows if he doesn't shoot Greedo, Greedo's going to shoot him. So I don't really see the point in editing that. I feel like him shooting first is the only appropriate way to represent that scene. So, like, that's one thing I want to say about, like, some of the special editions that have come out of the original films. Like, in the VHS versions that I had, they actually talk a little bit about some of the edits that they put in. Not specifically Han shooting Greedo and shit like that.
Because that wasn't in the VHS. There were other ones.
Yeah.
Because, again, your VHSs are not clean, quote unquote, because, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
More of, like, you know, they talk about going back and, like, restoring some of the aged-looking film, like the color and detail. And then even, like, mainly it was scenes from Mos Eisley, like flying, and when Luke and Obi-Wan are speeding through Mos Eisley, they kind of pan out and show you the city, and they do a few little, you know, short shots here and there of just, you know, the average life that goes on in this city, making it look more alive, like an actual city, instead of them just kind of, you know, toddling through a set kind of thing, you know?
Right.
And, like, that kind of thing I'm okay with. Like, that kind of edit, that's fine. Like, adding a little more attention to detail, making it look like a more realistic city. I like that idea. That's fine. Like, there was nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I understand that. You know, it's because I will admit, I will be honest, I would like other versions a bit. It's hard to say original because, again, as we know, you know, it's hard to say original with how much has been changed. I will admit I would like certain versions without certain changes. I do think, you know, personally that's how I feel. But the way I look at it is that, and the only reason why I say that, right, is because in my opinion, you should totally be able to change up your own work the way you want to. You know, why
Right.
would anyone? I don't think anyone should say, "Oh no, you're not allowed to do this to your own work." It's your own work. You own it. You made it. However, I do think that you should be able to show the quote unquote inferior work, if you will. You know, like out. You put it out as well. And I say this only because, you know I was showing you something that you weren't a big fan of, Galaxy Wars, because it's technically based off of Star Wars, but not really, but sort of, which also is messengers from space as well. But here's what I mean by that, though, Tristan. I've also shown you a lot of other Sentai and Kamen Rider that you've enjoyed, you know, bits and pieces. Because I don't think I've shown you like a full movie, but I've shown you bits and pieces, I believe. And although I did show you like a full episode or two. Also, I showed you Garo too, by the way, which isn't a Sentai or Kamen Rider, but it's Tokusatsu. Basically, for anyone who doesn't know and is sitting here like, what words is he using? Tokusatsu just means special effects in English, but it's used the same way in America now that we use anime, where anime really only means animation in Japan, but we use anime to refer to Japanese, like animation. So when it comes to Tokusatsu, even though Tokusatsu can really be just like Star Wars, right? Literally just Star Wars. Over there, Star Wars is Tokusatsu, right? We don't refer to it as that because it's like, oh no, that's the American, it's American stuff. We own it, America. We'll refer to stuff like Super Sentai, which became Power Rangers, right? Super Sentai Tokusatsu. We'll refer to Kamen Rider, which in America became Masked Rider, if you remember from the 90s, Masked Rider. Or in the early 2000s, Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. I'm trying to think of some other stuff that came over. VR Troopers was adapted from Tokusatsu. God, what else? Just a lot of random stuff. You're like, Beetleborgs was adapted from Tokusatsu. Ultraman was also adapted from Tokusatsu. Either dubbed over or just, changed up in some way or another. So, yeah, a lot of stuff from Japan brought over to America, dubbed over, et cetera, et cetera. Point is that you saw some of those shows. It would be a little awkward, I think, every single time there's a re-release to have new things changed up here and there. Even though they're live action, you saw the special effects involved, right? It would seem a little weird if some of the older stuff that I showed you, like Messengers from Space, or even when I showed you Z-Ranger, which technically became the original Mighty Morphin in the U.S., if Z-Ranger had updated special effects. Now, I will admit, I do think they do little stuff here and there for DVD releases, but for the most part, they're just like, hey, here's the show the way it came out. Right? Where, again, nothing against Lucas, because, hell, even Star Trek, right? I know we're on a Star Wars podcast? How fucking dare you? I'd rather you make fun of my mother first. Who's a cow? No, but seriously, I feel like people get real mad. People get real mad. But the point is that even Star Trek, and I'm sorry I said it again, might as well just say Voldemort too, fuck it. If you go on Netflix and watch it, I fucking might as well. Like, just keep on saying other things that shouldn't be said. Like Candle. What? Not going to finish that sentence. Anyway, if you go on Netflix and look up Star Trek, you'll see that, the ship is changed and, CGI has been messed with. And the original Star Trek, by the way, I should realize it's like not New Generation, not some of the, because I don't know much about the newer, not even new, but newer. I just know about the original Captain Kirk Star Trek. The ship has CGI, like new CGI for it, and they did that. So it's like, it's not just, a Lucas thing. But point is that, I'm cool with, if you're going to edit it, I'm cool with that because, hey, you know what? You want to add new sounds here. You want to just generally mess with, the audio mix, even mess with hell. Like Lucas made some parts of the, of the movie go from day to night, depending on which version you're watching. Right. Like in the desert, right? It'll go from either like day to twilight to night, depending on which version you're watching. And I'm cool with that. I just think it's weird personally because you'll have it, like, I think it's, what it is? It's the Blu-ray aspect of it. It's like, hey, get it on Blu-ray. Dude, yes, awesome. I get to see how great it'll look. But wait, does Han shoot first? Right. Does he shoot? Because the thing is that, like, if Han doesn't shoot first, all of a sudden, it's kind of like, Because I think that's also a huge thing for you and I, and a lot of people, I think, where they'll actually accept little tweaks like, oh, hey, the Death Star looks a little bit different, or, the Millennium Falcon looks a bit, quote-unquote, better, right? I'll accept, I think a lot of people accept that, or at least a lot of people accept that. It's the idea of just things changing from day to night, or
Han never shooting first. Hell, Han never even shot. Greedo just died because he's an incompetent asshole. I can't wait for that version. Just Han never shoots. Just Greedo's just like, oh shit, I'm an incompetent asshole, and then collapses.
He shoots himself. Or
No, he doesn't. Actually, no. You know what? That'll fucking work because it'll. You saw how shitty, in my opinion, how shitty the effect looked when he shoots. When Greedo shoots, It'll shoot against the wall, bounce off, hit him in the eye, and he dies.
Oh yeah.
And they'll get Ford to redub it over, and it'll be like, man, you're an incompetent asshole. And then he'll leave.
And I mean,
and that'll
that's
be the
not
fucking
even
scene.
That's not even talking about the other one when Han walks out to the Falcon and sees, Jabba calling out for him. Because there's a whole nother scene there. Yeah. Oh, you have more?
Well, no. I'm sorry. Wait, Jabba. That was in the next film. That's why I'm saying.
No, not in the next one. There's actually you might not have seen it, but there's another scene that I know of that I've seen. So before Ben and Luke go out to the Falcon to meet with Han goes back to the Falcon to get it ready. And Jabba is with a bunch of his henchmen calling out to Han, saying, "Where are you? Where's my money? Bitch, where's my money?" And so Han walks over and he's talking with Jabba. And
the only reason why I let you say that word on air is because Jabba said it. I saw Jabba would say it. Jabba would say it. He's an ass.
Exactly.
But you're a good kid.
So there's a point where Han actually walks around Jabba. But there's a problem because Jabba has a tail. He's this huge slug creature. So Han would have to step over his tail to go around behind him. Pointed out in original drafts, Jabba was actually meant to be more humanoid instead of a giant slug creature.
Oh, so that's the train. Oh, okay, yes. I've seen a little bit of this. Okay, I sort of know what you're referring to, but go on.
Yeah, so in an original version, he just walks around him, no problem. But when you show Jabba for what he is today, obviously he can't just walk around because he's walking through his body. So they edit it so that Han steps on his tail and over. But, I mean, the edit just looks so terrible.
Yeah, by the way, let me explain. Okay, so I want to explain, and I don't want to harp on this. I just have to miss it. Talk about it briefly. The thing that they did with Greedo, if anyone doesn't know, what happened was in the version that I'm watching, right, which is more in line with the original as in Han shot first. They just immediately show the shot happen without any kind of hesitation, right? Which, by the way, is the 1993 version, and that's where it's different. Mine was 1993. 4 years later, 97, I think, is when they started it, and then you have the 2004 DVD.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. So 1997 doesn't have to do with the whole, with the whole, DVD stuff yet, but so 1997 is when it happened, apparently, according to the Internet, where what ended up happening was they re-edited. They basically copied and pasted the shot from earlier, which the shot was the long shot of Han and Greed, sitting, across from each other, which is basically where, Greedo is saying, where Han's over my dead body. He's like, that's the idea. That part, that longer part, they copied and pasted that later and then immediately, just let it work as a still, and then they added in just pew, 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 pew. And then all of a sudden it's what? Greedo shot first? Even though it's just look, man. By the way, Greedo, I have to be honest. I'm actually sad that he's working with Jabba because he had an amazing resume to work with the Empire. Motherfucker was across the table and couldn't hit Han.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That is the perfect resume to be a stormtrooper. Just I have to be honest, he could have been right next to Palpatine with that kind of range. Man could have advanced through the ranks just so easily.
Oh.
I'm sorry, man, but Greedo has a place in the Empire.
I mean,
that's another thing, by the way, before we move back to what you were saying about the idea of the re-edits, where it's just like, well, no, but Greedo has to shoot first. What kind of faulty blaster are you using? At least have the thing click. 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 Damn it. Han shoots. Oh, so Greedo tried to shoot first, but then Han, in self-defense, the gun jammed or something. But my God, the shot went off, and it was like, no, on the wall, his face is right there. Han is so calm about it.
I mean, okay, the Stormtrooper joke, I've heard...
All right, I forgot that you get defensive. Go on.
Well, because I've heard both sides of this, and I know I've heard an argument in favor of the Stormtroopers, and that, okay, the scene I'm thinking of, I'm guessing, I don't know if you're specifically referring to a specific scene or whether you're just making the joke in general, but...
A joke in general, however, look, they get panicked too. Han and Chewie are running away. That's the only thing I can think of from this movie. It's the only scene I can think of from this movie that makes me sit there and go, man, guys, your aim.
Right. Oh, so when Han is, charging down the, running from the Stormtroopers down the hall?
Yeah, that's the only one I could think of, but I was making a general joke.
Because the scene I think of the most with that joke is when Obi-Wan and Vader are dueling, and Han, Leia, and Luke are running through the hangar, and they stop and see them fighting. Because there's a few Stormtroopers that, walk away from the side door where they come out of to look at Vader's battle.
Mm-hmm.
And after Vader swings and Obi-Wan disappears and Luke screams out for him, the Stormtroopers turn around. And there's at least 5 or 6 of them standing there, and they open fire on them because they're standing in the middle of the hangar.
Right.
However, I want to say they are at opposite ends of the hangar at that point. And okay, I mean, I'm fighting uphill again here because it's very hard to defend them for not being able to hit him.
I understand. It's okay. Hey, it's okay.
But I can't, I heard something specific, and I can't remember what it was. There was something specific about why Stormtroopers' aim is seemingly so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was, though.
Is that why they do it, clone intelligence thing?
No, I don't think it was that. I mean, for all intents purposes, yes, they should have been able to bullseye him, right between the eyes.
Mm-hmm. But one thing I want to mention while you're thinking about that is that one thing I want to mention is that so speaking of the whole Han charging in, I know this might sound like a crazy comparison at all, but I truly mean this. What's interesting about that charge, right? Because I think about that charge and I'm like, wow, a guy just charging right into enemy fire, an enemy, and then the enemies are running away because they're like, this guy's crazy, wow. I remember hearing some stories about stuff like that happening, and again, I'm not trying to make a joke, usually make jokes, I'm being serious, in Vietnam, which actually ended in 1975. And yes, Lucas was starting to write this in 1971, right? But I do wonder if there were any stories that he heard personally of just the idea of charging through the enemy like that makes them think you're crazy long enough for you or someone else to get shot in, right?
I mean,
but of course, hear me out. But the end result is usually, but you will die when they realize, wait, one guy. Which is funny, only funny in the sense that when Han tries it, it's just wow, this guy's nuts. Wait a minute.
Well,
we are also the Empire.
Yeah. With that scene, he runs after 2 guards, and they run towards a room where they must obviously know there's a platoon of, a whole room filled with stormtroopers
it wasn't
waiting.
just two. There were a lot of, I believe there were more than two that he ran after.
I think it might have. I know it wasn't that many. It was only 2 or 3, and he charges after them because
even 3 is still enough to be like, screw this guy. He's just running. But the idea that it's like, right? Who is this man? Wait, he's only a man. Ambush him.
What strikes me as odd is that I don't know if they dove out of the way or what, but when they get to the room and Han rounds the corner, if they were running from him and luring him into a trap, because the rest of the stormtroopers in the room have their backs turned to the door and only realize he's there once he comes screaming in, and then Han realizes, oh shit, and winds up killing either 1 or 2 of them because he lets off a shot or 2, and then he immediately turns around and goes the other way because he's like, fuck this.
Right.
That's the thing. He doesn't run through the room. He realizes, oh crap, there's a whole room of them, and then goes
and he
goes the other way.
And he's like, nope, not
And the rest
today.
of the platoon has to take a moment to be like, what the hell was that?
Chewie makes me feel so sad a lot because a lot of his growls are just like, oh man, because he sits there for 5 seconds. He's like, man, Han Solo died. I think he really the character really thought that for 5 seconds. Han's dead. And then it's just Han comes around the corner nah, dude, keep running.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
And the whole with them not realizing, I feel like that I could defend because they're on the Death Star. It's it kind of comes from some of the games and stuff that I played and dialogue that I've heard, but it's the Death Star is the most boring fucking job for a stormtrooper ever. I'm serious. It's boring as shit because it's nothing but tedious drills, looking to make sure, everything's running at top efficiency and make sure, nothing's amok. Nothing's, everything's in its place and everything is working perfectly. So all of a sudden you have this crazy guy screaming his head off, running down the hall and coming at you. You're like, the fuck is that? And you don't
I'm not getting paid for this. In fact, I'm not getting paid at all.
They're in the most secure Imperial facility in the galaxy. They don't think, Smuggler and his Wookiee is going to come running down the hallway, firing at people.
Yeah.
It's kind of they have to turn around and realize, wait, what the fuck just happened? Oh, wait, that's, he's an intruder. Quick, somebody shoot him.
Yeah. Can we shoot the intruder, guys? Come on. Let's be honest. We should probably shoot the intruder, guys. No, but I get that. It really throws them off. They're just wait a minute. No, but I get that.
And
so one thing I want to... Oh, sorry, you go on.
The only thing, the one thing I thought of for across the hangar when shooting at Luke and everything, the only thing that I can piece together to try and defend that is that Vader is right there behind them, and I get the feeling they were trying to go for a stunning shot, not set the gun, because they do have a stun setting, but I think they were trying to go for a non-lethal shot.
Okay.
Shoot him in the arm or shoot him in the shoulder, drop him, and then have, we can interrogate what the hell's been going on out of them. So I feel like maybe they weren't shooting to kill, so maybe that's what threw off their accuracy a little bit. Maybe it's kind of a weak argument, but take it as you want.
I would argue in this movie, like you said, they weren't prepared for this. I know that they are prepared to deal with rebels, so they should be prepared to deal with rebels, but I don't know. Just in some ways it felt like they were clones in a way where it's just we've heard the idea in science fiction of when you clone something over and over and over again, it gets weaker and weaker and weaker.
Yeah.
I don't know how the new movie's going to deal with that, but it feels like this movie definitely there's a feeling of
supports that idea.
Yeah, this movie definitely supports that idea.
Okay.
One thing I want to mention
is,
so I want to ask something about Obi-Wan or Ben.
Right.
Whichever Uncle Ben Kenobi, whichever one we want to fucking go with. If Uncle Ben isn't the first thing that makes you think, he's not actually an uncle, but still the idea is just is he going to die? Is Uncle Ben going to die in this one? My question to you is, so did you know that Ben, Obi-Wan, was going to, okay, so you knew he was going to die, of course, because, I mean, you've seen the movie. What I mean is, did you know that Lucas wrote in that he was going to die only after realizing, wait, he's literally going to serve no purpose in the end of the movie, so he killed him off?
Yeah, I have heard that.
My question to you is when you know that now that you know that, does it seem very, not jarring, but very, I say jarring, not like very quick? Like, does it seem like the death was very quick and spontaneous, which I do think adds to it a little bit, where you're like, oh, man, that hit me because it came out of nowhere. But does it feel a little bit like, oh, it came out of nowhere? Like, it really, like, just kind of happened?
Slightly.
Yeah. No, because I feel, that's how I feel personally. I don't know, maybe, you know, not that I hate it, because, again, it's like, it does bring drama to the film, and I do think that it was needed, because what we have, you know, having Obi-Wan continue being in the next few movies, I think would have been, like, it would have been overkill with, like, what you can do.
I mean, I would argue that, I mean, yeah, I can't think of a better spot that his death could have come in, but like, it's not like Luke couldn't have used him for a little bit longer to at least get a little more training before he starts to send him to Yoda.
True.
Because between there's a bit of time between, you know, 4 and 5 between the movies. You know, just with the, you know, with the Rebel Alliance on the run, they no longer have, you know, a main base after the, I mean, okay, technically, yes, they stopped the Death Star from, you know, blowing up Yavin for the moon base that they had, and they destroy the Death Star, and it's still there. Of course, if you look at plenty of the literature or anything else, or even just with the movie, leaving it as it was, you don't think the Empire is going to retaliate against that, you know, against that ship? I mean, they know where they are.
Well, that's actually why I feel that the idea of having an award ceremony was like, guys, Vader left. We should really be focusing on the fact that Vader left. I mean, you might not know that Vader left, but please understand, this is not the end of the movie. You know?
Yeah. Right.
It feels a bit like Back to the Future 1, where it's kind of just like, you know, where it's just kind of just, you know, like, it's your kids, Marty. You know, that whole situation.
Yeah.
Well, we're going, we don't need no roads. Like, even though it was a very nice musical, like, you know, like really nice music at the end of the first, you know, Back to the Future, you didn't sit there and go, well, the movie's over. No, you were like, the second one, the sequel. Right. So, I mean, I guess they didn't realize that Vader left. But it's still, like you said, the idea of, hey, they're not all dead yet.
Yeah. I feel like the Alliance knew that even though they did blow up the Death Star, you know, that base was finished.
Yeah.
And that they realized they had some time, and in that time, it was important to celebrate. Because if you look at the end of the movie, when they start the Death Star attack run, there are 30 pilots that go in. Mm. There are 3 that come out.
Yeah.
And granted, you know, the Death Star can blow up planets, yes, but you know, it's kind of like any kind of military operation. Even if you think of, you know, in our day, if 30 people, you know, go in and only 3 come out, that's a heavy loss. And especially in this, you know, for the rebellion who needs, you know, every person that volunteers themselves, because not everyone has the, I mean, okay, for lack of a, you know, more tame term, not everybody has the balls to go up against, you know, the Death Star.
You can say guts. You can say cojones. Guts and cojones. You know, cojones is technically balls in Spanish, but I'm Spanish.
Yeah.
Guts works really well, I think, because, you know, what the new movie shows, and I think that a lot of the literature, as well as, you know, the later movie shows.
Oh,
I mean, hell,
not
even just. No, I know.
I mean that in a figurative sense, not in like a gender sense.
Oh no, of course. I just have to put it out there because you know how the idea, you know how it is nowadays. Not in a bad way, but again, the idea that because I mean, you know what I like too about this movie, by the way, like trying to talk about, which I think you noticed, you know, ever since you were young, the idea that Leia can kick ass.
Yeah, she needed saving, but she needed saving the same. Like, if you had flipped the roles where, like, it was a prince, he would have needed saving too. You know what I mean?
They would have still been
anyone
equally
in that
screwed.
situation. Yes, anyone in that situation. Also, the fact that Luke was in no way super cool. It was Han that was super cool. Like, Luke was a super nerd, which I liked. So, like, yes, Chosen One, OP, if you will, you know, the word OP, like the original, you know, like the basically God mode, if you will, God mod.
Yeah, I mean,
like those, like, because hear me out, because of the fact that he's the power of one, you know, the Chosen, the Force, all that stuff. But putting that aside, Luke could do shit for the most part, which I think is good because this is like kind of like he's learning, you know, he's getting, it's kind of a growth rather than just him being like, hey, I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm gonna sex Leia.
True.
And it's like, please don't, please don't, please don't.
Oh, God.
Please don't.
I mean, the whole thing with Luke, I mean, he is a farm boy, and not to say he doesn't, not to make that sound bad, because it's not, because he still has,
because you love Goku to hell,
basic know-how of, you know, blasters. He knows how to handle himself in a gunfight. You know, I'm sure he's gotten into a skirmish or two, you know, with sand people back on Tatooine, like you see in the beginning of the film. He still has to defend his homestead.
While I admit, you know, you saying balls can offend some, sand people I think offends everybody. The term sand people.
That's what they're called in the movie. For
I don't care though. No. I'm not being one. I'm being dead honest. The term sand people, it's like, well, they're in the desert. Also, they're, you know, it's kind of like, it's a little awkward, man. It's a little awkward. That and then the whole, no, like I'm being dead honest. And also the whole, which I almost forgot to mention, it's just a little awkward. The idea of just like, hey, your droids can't come in here. Oh yeah, you guys should really go out. We don't want any trouble. Like, I'm sorry, it was kind of just like, oh.
I mean, granted, they're Imperial soldiers looking for droids that are supposed to have very top secret plans that they don't want anyone else knowing about. Of course, they don't want them in their bar because they don't want the Imperial troops coming into their bar.
They didn't know that yet. They were just like they didn't know about that yet, did they? Like the people in the bar.
I mean, okay, they didn't know. They didn't know what
it just felt weird.
Troops were looking for, but they knew they were looking for droids. I mean, there was a checkpoint that they had to go through.
Oh.
Yeah.
My bad. You're right. There was a checkpoint. Got you.
Like, I'm pretty sure all the people in Mos Eisley knew about, you know, the Imperials are looking for something. Everybody lay low today.
That makes a lot of sense, you know, because, like, kind of out of context, without being able to put those two together, it's extremely, especially when, like, and again, I hate to be that guy, I hate to be that person, but the idea was just like, hey, you two droids, get out. We don't want your kind here. But two white men, come right in. Two white men, just even though C-3PO was fucking British, but still, you two white men, come right in.
I feel like if it were two alien species that walked in, that might be a little more, like, interesting.
I get you. Yeah.
And I mean, they even, like, just look at the Empire. The Empire has no love for, you know, other species. Like, they're all old white guys too. But like that was supposed to be the whole, you know, point of oppression and, you know, uniformity to
agree.
An extreme with the Empire. That was supposed to be a theme. So like that's why that's there.
Also, an interesting thing that I think I saw was the idea that religion is used in a way to be like, oh, you know, like haha, religion. But at the same time, you have both good and bad, where you have Luke, you know, and of course Obi-Wan. And you have Vader. Both using it for good and bad, I think, which was interesting. And, of course, you had a bunch of atheists walking around like, seriously, I've seen some crazy shit, but I ain't seen something crazier than religion. Ha, 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 ha. Like, that's how Han came off at some point. And I was like, Han, you're an ass. I love you, but you're an ass. One thing that I want to say is, okay, so I like how the movie flowed. I do think that minus the death with Obi-Wan, I do think it flowed well. And I when I say flow, I mean it felt like wacky misadventures. And I know for some it might feel weird to some, but in my opinion, I enjoyed the idea that it felt like everything was just like, oh yeah, we could get out of this. Damn it, tractor beam. Oh, you know, we were trying to do this. Ah, hell. Like, each one was just like, wait, Leia's alive and here? Awesome, let's get her. We're supposed to stay here. But plot. Like, I don't know, it felt like
I think, like I said, if other than some stuff that happens in a lot of movies, the idea that, not the idea of like, oh, but plot. No, the idea of just like, wait a minute. How did Luke survive? Really? Luke survived? Well, yes, he's the main character. We're very sorry. But Luke can't die because of sand people. I'm very sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so sorry that Luke couldn't die because of the sand people. But he needed to live because the movie needed to happen, right? But minus like stuff like that, which again, that happens in every movie. That's like, I can't, like, not Star Wars, any movie ever. So like, we can't really complain about that, at least in my opinion. But
I mean, in those two instances, I'd say the sand people weren't, strictly out to kill him. They were just like, oh, let's raid his stuff. And they might have even kept him alive. It's like, because on Tatooine, they still have a whole, thing of slavery. It's like, oh, well, we could just sell him, shit like that.
It's the sand Yamchas.
Oh, God. Well,
the sand Yamchas and
bandits,
the sand force.
So.
Basically. It's funny? I do watch this movie and see a lot of DBZ, not a lot, but see certain DBZ parallels, and I only noted one, like, in my head. I forgot to put it down in the notes. When I saw R2-D2 and C-3PO leaving with the ship, and they're like, wait, is there something bad? Oh, no, there's no life forms in there. It's fine. And I was like, hello, Goku.
Yeah.
Because it was like, imagine that right there. Like, if they were not lucky, it's kind of just like,
Frieza's in charge of this quadrant. Let him clean up his own mess.
Darth Frieza. Basically, Darth Frieza.
Darth Cooler.
Darth Cooler. Darth Cooler sounds like a very interesting, like, German rock band. Like Darth Cooler. Oh,
yeah.
Darth Cooler.
Oh,
anyway,
but the thing with not escaping the Death Star, or the fact that they escaped and they survived through it, I mean, in the end, Leia even says to Han, they let us go. And he's like, what are you talking about? We just fought our way out of there. It's like, no, they're tracking us to find the base. And even Tarkin says to Vader at the end, he says, is the homing beacon aboard their ship? He says, I'm taking an awful risk, Vader. This had better work.
Yeah,
and technically it
made sense. Yeah, technically it did. No, that made sense. One thing I have to say about Darth Vader, there's a lot that, first off, what was interesting is, I guess what he didn't know at the time, before I mentioned what I was going to mention, I guess Vader did not know at the time that Leia was his daughter. Because, I don't know, he didn't kill her, but I felt like he would have been a lot more gentle.
Yeah, no, she definitely got tortured. And that's another thing to say about Leia. I mean, she resisted, mind, or what was it?
It looked like it would be mind-altering, like syringe
or like a truth serum.
Yeah, truth serum stuff, which is nuts. Again, she's a lot more powerful than I think maybe even some people give her credit for. Not that some people try to say that she's a damsel in distress. No one really, I think, says that. But if they tried to, it's, she was just trying, she was just going to be saved by that. No. I mean, even with, hell, she even gave Han some pointers. When they were
trying to escape, And I mean, there's plenty to suggest that Leia could have even been a Jedi herself if she had undergone the same training that Luke did. Leia could have been just as good of a Jedi, if not better.
Yeah. No,
but her calling was in the Senate, like her mother. You know. And hell, even her mother, that's a whole nother movie, set of movies.
That's
but,
a whole nother podcast.
Padme was amazing at what she did. And she tried to do it diplomatically instead of, slicing people in half with a lightsaber or with a blaster.
I like that we both went for the same thing. You're just like, I'm going to use words, and I'm like, sound effects. So I have to be honest, and this is the one thing I have to respect about Vader, only one thing. The man he actually went into this in a ship by himself. That takes some guts. I know, it really does though, because usually you don't see the quote unquote person in charge, the head, the evil big bad boss man, right? Whoever it is,
doing the dirty work.
You don't see them out there unless there's one catch, unless it's when they die.
Right.
and I only say that because, we talk about Sentai before. Whenever you see the major generals, and I'm sorry to spoil this trope because, it's a big one, and I feel like if you remember it forever, you're like, damn it, no, because usually, not always, but usually around the last few episodes, but still, point is this. When you see the generals, coming out to play, and you see the main bad guy coming out, they're going to die. Right?
Right.
I mean, maybe once or twice they'll take advantage of the Warriors or the Sentai members, the Rangers, whatever you want to call them, and then the Rangers will have a counter strike, and then they'll win. But usually when they're coming out and it's like it's actually time for us now, which is totally how they sound, just in Japanese. They die. So the fact that Vader came out, and because he did this, it actually caused him to escape, was like, oh, wow, it's not new because this happened fucking 40 years ago, but it's new in the sense it's like, oh, wow, that's different, Yeah. Because I don't know, whenever I see something like that, it's like, oh, I'm going to fight you now. And it's like with the main character or with a set of, of like a bigger set of characters, instead of just Obi-Wan, you kind of sit there and go, man, Vader's going to die here. But of course we know that he wasn't, because you and I know that he isn't because we know the other movies. But the idea still is that oh wow, Vader escapes, even though he used the trope against everything. He force choked the trope. It's not on my watch.
I mean, I feel like that really, it kind of shadows back onto his character when before he became Darth Vader. Anakin was always out on the front line. During the Clone Wars, Anakin was always, he was a general of his own, clone armies and everything during the Clone Wars, but he was always out on the front line with them. You could argue that even more with the animated series, the Clone Wars.
But I thought Darth Vader killed him.
Yes, he did. From a certain point of view.
Yes, from a certain point of view. But
if you look at that's really a reflection of just who, Vader is. Vader's pretty much a no-nonsense kind of guy. If he wants something done and he wants it done right, and he feels his skill is needed, then he will step up and be like, all right, out of my way. I'm going to show you how to do this right.
I only laugh at it because I just imagine. Well, go on.
Well, he was one of the best star pilots in the galaxy, you could argue. Even Obi-Wan says it in the beginning, and that's proven. Vader's a good pilot.
Yeah. It only makes me laugh because I don't know why, I can imagine Palpatine for some reason. I can just imagine him just going, Vader, do not go out there. It will be the death of you. And also it's like, save my life, bye. Literally, had he been on the Death Star, he would have died.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's great. It's hilarious. Him being headstrong. It's a weird. It's in a way, it's a weird lesson for kids because just like kids, don't be headstrong like the bad guy, or else you'll be alive.
Live? Yeah.
Whoops.
Exactly.
But it's okay though because Han shot first. Guys, your priorities. I'm sorry, Greedo shot first. It's your priorities. You need to get your plot in order.
Yeah. And there's one other.
I do think it flowed well. What I wanted to say to you though is, do you think that? Okay, I know that the ending did have enough time, of course, but did it feel rushed to you in a weird way? I say rush in the sense that you look at the way it's such a a fantasy. It's kind of they stumble around oh man, we got through this, thank goodness. I don't know, maybe it's because of the way movies are made nowadays, and maybe sadly my brain is stuck on that. But it feels like they could have stopped there. After the whole, we're safe, instead of, and now we're going to shoot them all down to the ground. How do you feel about that?
Wait, how...
I'm sorry. What I'm trying to say is, for some reason, it felt to me as if the last part was, with the whole, we're destroying the Death Star, was in a way tacked on, as if it could have not been there. And it could have been we got, this was our adventure, in this thing, in this tin can, right?
Right.
And then they're just we escaped. But instead, it turned us into, yes, we escaped with the plans. Now we're on the attack. And it was wait, I mean, of course you knew there was time left on the clock, but still, it's like,
yeah.
Like, it felt like it was squished in there. I feel like, I don't know why, I feel like it could have had more time, even though it had enough time.
I didn't feel like it was squished in there. I think, like,
really?
I actually really like how they did it. Like, I even going back and watching it each time, it's like that whole attack run happened in 15 minutes.
I think I would have wanted more time.
It's kind of like that odd... You could kind of compare it to, like, okay, honestly, I don't think they did it in such an extreme way as they did in, like, Dragon Ball, but, like, Goku versus Frieza. The whole, 5 minutes left on Namek before it explodes, and you see the entire fight unravel. Granted, that takes a lot longer, and that's a bit more skewed time-wise and our perception and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But, like, it's the fate, like, the fate of the rebellion hinges on this last stand. Like, they're backed into a corner, and it's like, guys, we've got to blow this thing up or we're dead. Like, that's this is the end. This is, if we don't do this right now, this is endgame. We're done. And I feel like that was it. I don't know. I feel like if they dragged that out longer, it would have lost its effect. Because during, like, that, the Death Star attack run is probably my favorite part of the entire movie.
What if they had cut it where I said they cut it, and then they started that
in the beginning of the next movie as a way to, like, action-packed, like, make everything action-packed, and then it would have had the same effect to you?
No. Because
it had to be the end.
Yes. Because that was the whole climax. Like, the whole, I feel like the whole the movie was building up to that last battle. The whole movie builds up to that last battle that the rebellion has. Like,
I think
getting
I've
the plan.
been poisoned by an hour, 20-minute long movies now.
I think so, yeah.
All right. Believe me, I'm cool with that. I don't like I like the whole 2-hour thing. I love, even though the new Poltergeist movie wasn't that bad, I love the original because they had the 2 hours to play with.
Right.
And I love it a lot. Because they had it's just that for some reason because of the way it was done, it was so linear, in my opinion, that it kind of felt like at a point it was just like, we did it. Like, it felt like, for some reason to me, it felt like the we did it was we got out alive. Even though they did let him escape, still it was kind of like, we got out alive.
Yeah.
But yeah. How do you feel about the metal scene? For some, like I said to you before, for some reason it makes me feel weird because it's like, Vader's still out there, guys. Guys, please.
I mean, I think it was I guess they were trying to make it more, like, lighthearted, like, we just destroyed the Death Star, but I feel like, because a lot of the literature kind of, I think, does it better, in a sense, like, the end of the movie is supposed to be kind of feel-good. They lost a lot of good pilots, and, like, like, probably some of the best that they've ever had, because, they must have handpicked at least a good, the 30 people to go out and fight against the Death Star. It's like only 3 people came back, and that's a pretty sobering, thought. Because in the literature, they're all like, we have a Hall of Fame, but everyone who's in the Hall of Fame is dead. Because they've done some kind of just being out there and fighting for, freedom and equality for everybody in the galaxy. Like, that's what the rebellion is all about. And it's a hard life. They're always on the run. They're always in hiding.
That's why it's hard for you to ever play with the Empire. Like, anything at all. It's just hard for you.
Right.
Yeah, I get you.
I mean, like,
but,
I think the Empire and the technology and the whole thing is cool, but it's like, as the villains, I always see, people talking about, you love the Empire, you love the Empire. It's like, it's cool and all, and, the technology and the inner workings are interesting, but it's like, I could never root for anybody but the rebellion. It's like, they stand for all that's evil in the galaxy. How could you root for that, I mean, it's one thing to be like, the bad guy's cool, but it's like,
Yeah, no, like
in this sense, it's like no, you don't root for the bad guy.
The bad guys have the cooler outfits. You know, I know. Like a lot of times, I think people are able to relate to the bad guy for one or two reasons. But I think in this case, like you can feel bad for what happened to Anakin turning into Darth Vader. You can feel bad.
Yeah,
you can't
that's a tragic
like,
story within itself.
Yes, but you can't sit there and be like, you know what? Fuck yeah, I root for the Empire. Now, I will admit, I think playing a video game, you can play as the Empire, but I know for you, it's like so ingrained in your Star Wars culture that you can't even fathom as playing as the Empire. But you get Vader. I don't give a fuck about Vader.
Yeah,
right.
Kind
You're like, give me Obi-Wan.
I'll be like, yeah, it's cool, and I liked the Force choke and all that, but it's like if I had the choice, I'd go with Luke every time, Rebels all the time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I get you.
I mean, I feel like it would be what you said before, like instead of Vader, it'd be like, oh yeah, I support Palpatine and all his agendas. It's like, what?
No.
No.
I think you've just shown who you are. I think that's like, it's like
exactly. It's like in that statement alone, it's like, I know everything about you, and I want nothing to do with you.
Like, like someone going, I got to be honest, like, what Frieza wanted to do, I mean, let's be real here. Who wouldn't want to kill some Saiyans?
Right, exactly. It's like, what?
Again, well, although to be fair, let's be honest, the Saiyans were not sin-free, so we shouldn't really go that, that's a bad route to go down. I think the Rebels are a bit more, like, clean-cut, like, clear, which is like, hey, like, it's very just, just like crystal. It's like, hey, no.
Yeah.
Rebels are pretty chill.
The Empire would kind of twist that around and be like, oh, well, they're disrupting order and they're, destroying people's lives, and sometimes civilians may even get into, in the crossfire.
So but here's what's funny, though. Like, here's the thing. Like, I get that, and I know you're going to say something, but I still have to just jump in. I love that concept because it's just like, right, and you're the ones who destroyed Alderaan. So, like...
Yeah, exactly.
So
like the Empire, like even the Rebels will be like, they try their damnedest not to get anyone else but Imperial targets involved, and like they still remember that they're. I mean, not everybody is a clone, not everybody's a stormtrooper, and like that's kept in mind too. It's like you are fighting against other people, but it goes into a lot of different things.
So before we end the show, before I give my whole spiel on what we've done, before I end the show, I want to ask you a question. Biggest question of the night, all right? I think this is a huge one. Alderaan or Alderaan? Which one? Is it Alderaan or is it Alderaan? Or Alderaan? Which one is it? Because I've heard it as both in the same fucking movie, and I'm like, that's great.
Yeah. I think it depends on your... Alderaan. I think it depends on your accent.
Okay, so it wasn't, because like for me it always throws me off when like, because I usually see it in anime dubs, interestingly enough, where it's just like, like Keiko. It's like Keiko, Kiko, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's the same fucking name.
I think I've always said it as Alderaan.
Me too. For some reason that sounds better. I feel like Ran. It's kind of just like when someone's just like, it's like Iraq or like Iraq.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
No,
right?
Even though some people just go Iraq, which I'm like, that one also sounds better too, like rather than Iraq, like Iraq. Yeah. No, because like Iraq, like, but it's like the rack. It's like it's like all the Ran. Yeah. I'm like, okay, guys, tone it down. All the Ron.
One other thing that I wanted to say, and
sure.
I know a lot of people make points about this in a lot of different series, like, oh, why does the hero always survive? Like, I think you kind of hinted at it earlier, but it's
the main character syndrome. I mean, you have to have, if Star Wars was more like Game of Thrones, there would technically be no main character, and Luke would die in the first movie.
Right, and there'd be no story.
That's not true. Because remember,
okay, no, that's not true.
Because like you haven't seen Game of Thrones, but the general idea is it's not that there's a main character. It's generally like there's families, but what would happen is you probably
That
so,
for that series, it makes more sense that there isn't a specific main character. But like if you look at If you looked at the original trilogy of Star Wars and Luke died in the first movie, there would be no fucking story.
Whose father am I? Father am I?
Because the movies follow Luke and Anakin's story. And that's the thing.
I am your father. No, that can't be true. It really isn't. But can I please adopt you? You're so cool. You are so cool. Can I be your daddy?
Growing up as a kid, the movies were what I had as the story. And I think as I've grown up, I've seen them so many times that I know it, front to back. And it's yeah, okay, it can be kind of one-dimensional, and I get that. Even I've grown a little weary of watching them. I don't watch them as much as I used to. I'll watch them once in a while, and that's good.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
No. I mean, I know that they air on Spike or other networks around around the holidays.
Yeah. But that's why I love, the greatest thing out of Star Wars is the universe itself. There are so many other stories going on in the background. There's so much that happens, before the movie even begins. Or even if you go full circle through the entire trilogy, there's so much going on in the background that you don't see in the movie. That once you, expand out into the games, the literature, everything else that's out there, there's a whole universe out there, and there's so many different things that people can do. That's what I love about Star Wars as a series. Not like I'm dogmatically to these movies are the epiphany of, science fiction film. It's no, I'm not going to
because they're actually not science fiction. Yes, they technically are, but Lucas considers them more fantasy, which is funny.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's true though, because Lucas really thinks of it more as a fantasy story. Yes, sci-fi is involved. He did do research on sci-fi stuff before making this movie, but he likens them more to fantasy.
Fantasy.
I guess I would argue if you're thinking of stuff like Lord of the Rings, or even Wizard of Oz. In theory, this movie has been compared to Wizard of Oz because that journey.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the idea of the journey.
Yeah.
But so it's not just about we're in space.
Right. Yeah.
It's no, the journey and kind of space is involved totally. It's called fucking Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
But which by the way,
I feel like
yeah.
Just to wrap up the point I was trying to make.
Please.
With all those other stories going on in the background, I think a lot of people don't get the perspective of, especially with the rebellion fighting the Empire. It's how many people came before them, or how many other battles happened before the Death Star run, and the one miracle that they have that Luke is able to blow up the Death Star. It's there are so many other losses that have happened before then. It's the Empire got. Didn't, technically I guess they kind of did, but it's the Empire didn't just happen, it wasn't always there. Things changed for the worst. Things, terrible things happened to a lot of people throughout the galaxy that you don't ever see, and you probably never will see, but it's in the back of your mind, that's already occurred, that's already happened. But all you see is the triumph story.
Yeah, of course. So,
that's why
the
literature
that's something helps out.
I think that's the different series that come in with books and the animated series where you see episodes where it takes a step back from just the movies. It takes a step into the larger universe, the larger world, at what's going around with just even the normal, just everyday people.
Yeah,
and I think that's
it's
really
nice.
important. It's really important to give a perspective, the main characters in the movies, or Luke. Luke is the hero, but he's the hero that's come after so many others. He is.
Oh yeah.
He's the culmination of the actions of so many other people to even get him.
Which is why I think a lot of people had a lot more hope. And I know it's not like a pun on A New Hope. No, they seriously had hope for the prequels because of all the stuff you're talking about. That's why everyone was like, prequels, yeah. Now they're like, prequels, You know?
Yeah.
But people were definitely hyped for the prequels. And by the way, we'll talk about them as as we do more podcasts, because we are going to do the whole linear, the way the way they were released, 4, 5, and 6, and then back to 1, 2, and 3. And of course, after that, I don't know if we're going to get them done before 7. When we see 7, we're just going to start the podcast on that. But I know that we definitely eventually want to jump into the animated series as well.
Definitely.
Or at least I wanted to, and when I said it, you were just lit up. You were like, "Of course, I've been waiting for this." Basically, we'll watch 5, and we'll do it soon. I want to get you before next week, but maybe next week, But but either way, as we wrap up the show, it's just, where can you find updates on our episodes? Well, we'll tell you right now. You can find them on our main website, which is thoseguysontheradio.tumblr.com. You can find them through our Facebook, which is /thoseguysontheradio, or our Instagram, which is @thoseguysradio. I'm sorry, our Instagram, which is /thoseguysontheradio, or our Twitter, which is @thoseguysradio. You can find them through there. We've done a lot of different shows. Just talking about Tristan and I, we've done Dragon Ball Super. We've done Dragon Ball Z movies and OVAs, as well as Bleach movies and OVAs, and we're definitely moving on to some more anime in the future. But right now, we're doing Star Wars. Good old-fashioned Star Wars. So, yeah. Tristan, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, good. No, I worried. I thought my computer shut down, and I was like, no. It's like, no, I need everything working. So you can find us through there. That's just Tristan and I, by the way. We have a multitude of hosts where we've done WWE shows, WWE reviews, so much more. And again, you can find them through those websites that I mentioned, or, on our social media, as well as iTunes, because we're also on iTunes. So you can search us up, Those Guys, or Those Guys on the Radio. You'll see our logo and our 200-plus shows that we've done on a multitude of topics. Also, we're on YouTube as well. You can search up TGOTR, or Those Guys on the Radio, and I'm constantly uploading it with new episodes. So, with some of our backlogs, so you can definitely check us out there as well. We also have a Let's Play channel, which is really cool in my opinion, where if you're a WWE fan, we've also played some WWE games with some of our other hosts, or WCW games with some of our other hosts. You and I, though, Tristan, not only have we played Luigi's Mansion for our 2-part Halloween special, not only have we played freaking Hot Wheels Turbo Racing for the PS1 and Pets Crazy Monkeys for the Nintendo Wii.
Oh, God.
We've also recently played Star Wars Battlefront for Thanksgiving. Yep. And I think that's what we gave thanks for. Actually, no, I gave thanks for you. You didn't give thanks for shit, because I springed Battlefront on you. The new Battlefront, by the way, for the PS4, Xbox One. So I sprung that on you, and you were like, please, God, no, because you didn't want to play it. But we did. And
I did.
It seems like you warmed up to it. You still sit there and think, man, I love the old ones a lot better. But you actually warmed up to it.
Yeah, it's not that I didn't want to play it. I did. I just have some gripes with what's, not in it.
And you can find out what those gripes are if you watch our Let's Play of it, which, by the way, where do you find our Let's Plays? All the Let's Plays we've done, because we've done a lot of others as well. TGP, Those Guys Play. If you find Those Guys Play, TGP, you'll see Those Guys Play as our logo, and you can go in there and you can see the Let's Plays that we've done. We try to release one per week, a couple per month, however it works out. And we actually have our season finale coming at the end of this month, December, as we're, doing this live in December. We have a season finale coming out in December, first season. And also we have our holiday specials also coming at the end of the month. You and I won't be doing some holiday stuff, but myself and Tish Ram, one of our other hosts, will be doing the holiday stuff. And because I got you for Thanksgiving. I'm like, I don't want to bring you to Queens for Christmas. I was like, just stay with your family. Please stay with your family. And yeah, so we're at the end of our show. We'd like to thank you all for listening in. And I would say anything you want to say, Tristan, but you already covered that. So you already covered I know you probably have more. What else do you have to say?
There's always more.
What else? What else do you have to say about Star Wars?
I would just want to say I hope that people found some of the points we brought up interesting. I really enjoyed these films as a kid. I still enjoy them today. Star Wars has always been a really big part of just kind of who I am. and it means a lot to me. So I hope it, means as much to other people as well.
Yeah, and I hope they do, at least they can, pick up on that through listening to you speak about this, because you do speak about other topics. I mean, of course, when we talk about Dragon Ball Z and stuff, I'm trying not to dominate the entire conversation, because Dragon Ball Z is a part of my life, as well as yours, of course, both of us. It kind of just is corrupted not in a bad way, just gone into our souls. So our brains just generally, but I still feel like, this is the topic where I sat there and I was like, I can take a break for about 10 minutes. Let them go off about the Star Wars Galaxy stuff. Star Killer, yeah. Keep on going. Like, all I have to do is mention, hey, Greedo shot first. Take a breather there. Oh, man, you know what? I got to go make myself a 5-course meal. Right? It's just, all I have to do is sit there and just have you go off on it, because, and I hope everyone noticed that, because,
I'll see you when you get back.
Dude, I set the show for an hour. We're at an hour and a half right now.
Yeah, and I can keep going easily.
You can keep going. And we're going to stop here again. Thank you all for listening in. And say goodnight, Tristan.
May the Force be with you. Good night, everyone.
And also with you. Good night, everyone.